Benjamin had stopped believing in magic long ago. The world had a way of beating wonder out of people, replacing it with bills, responsibilities, and the hollow ache of loneliness. His small cottage at the edge of the forest had become both sanctuary and prison, a place where he could hide from a world that had taken everything he loved. The rain came down in sheets that autumn evening, turning the forest path into a river of mud. Benjamin sat by his fireplace, nursing a cup of tea that had long gone cold. When he heard the sound, it was faint at first, a whimper, almost lost in the storm's fury. He told himself to ignore it. Getting involved never led anywhere good. But the sound came again, more desperate this time. With a resigned sigh, Benjamin grabbed his lantern and stepped into the downpour. The cold rain immediately soaked through his jacket as he followed the cries deeper into the woods. What he found made him stop dead in his tracks. Two girls huddled beneath a fallen oak tree, their bodies shaking violently. But these weren't ordinary children. Even through the darkness and rain, Benjamin could see the iridescent scales that covered their arms, the small horns protruding from their foreheads, and the tattered wings folded against their backs. Dragons, or at least dragonkin. The older one, she couldn't have been more than 12, wrapped her arms protectively around her younger sister. Her eyes, golden and slitted like a cat's, watched Benjamin with a mixture of fear and defiance. The younger girl, perhaps 7 or 8, was unconscious, her breathing shallow and labored. "Please," the older girl whispered, her voice barely audible over the storm. "Don't hurt us. We'll leave at first light. Just let my sister rest." Something in Benjamin's chest cracked. He saw himself in those desperate eyes, the same look he'd worn when the world had turned its back on him. "Come with me," he said simply, extending his hand. The girl hesitated, searching his face for deception. Finally, with nowhere else to turn, she took his hand. Benjamin learned their names as he settled them by the fire. Addison, the elder sister, sat rigid and watchful while he tended to little Alara's fever. The younger girl's scales were dull, lacking the shimmer her sister's possessed, a sign of severe malnutrition. Benjamin guessed. "Where are your parents?" he asked gently as he wrapped Alara in warm blankets. Addison's jaw tightened. "Gone. Hunters came to our village 3 months ago. They said dragons were too dangerous to live near humans." Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. "They killed everyone. We only escaped because Mama hid us in the cellar." Benjamin felt anger rise in his throat, but he swallowed it down. Anger wouldn't help these girls. "You're safe here," he told her. "Both of you." Addison's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. "People always say that. Then they see what we are and change their minds." "I won't," Benjamin said, meeting her gaze steadily. "I promise." The first weeks were difficult. Alara's fever broke, but both sisters remained skittish, flinching at sudden movements and hoarding food as if each meal might be their last. Benjamin gave them space while making his cottage a home for 3 instead of 1. He learned their quirks slowly. Addison loved books, devouring every volume in his small library with voracious hunger. Her eyes would light up when she learned something new, her scales shimmering with excitement. Alara was quieter, but she had a gift for drawing. She filled page after page with sketches of flowers, birds, and the family she'd lost. Benjamin found himself smiling more. He'd wake to find Addison already up, attempting to make breakfast with limited success. He'd returned from the village to discover Alara had drawn a new picture just for him. Slowly, the cottage filled with laughter instead of silence. One evening, as snow began to fall, Addison approached Benjamin with unusual nervousness. "Why are you helping us?" she asked. "We're not your responsibility. We're not even human." Benjamin set down the wood he'd been chopping and considered his answer carefully. "5 years ago, I lost my wife and daughter to illness," he said quietly. "After they died, I stopped living. I was just existing, going through motions." He looked at both girls, who had crept closer to listen. "Then you just stumbled into my life, reminding me what it feels like to be needed, to matter. You gave me a reason to smile again." Tears streamed down Addison's face. "You're not afraid of us?" "Afraid?" Benjamin shook his head. "Your children. Brave, resilient, wonderful children who survived the unthinkable. Why would I be afraid?" Alara launched herself at Benjamin, wrapping her small arms around his waist. Addison followed more slowly, but no less tightly. For the first time since that rainy night, Benjamin felt something he thought he'd lost forever: hope. The village eventually learned about his houseguests. Some whispered and pointed. A few even suggested he turn the girls over to authorities. But Benjamin stood firm, and slowly, as people saw Addison helping at the market and Alara's sweet nature, attitudes began to shift. Years would pass. Addison would grow into a brilliant scholar, her dragon heritage giving her unique insights into magic and history. Alara would become a renowned artist, her paintings capturing beauty that only dragon eyes could truly see. But that winter evening, as the three of them sat by the fire sharing stories and hot chocolate, they were simply a family, broken pieces that had found each other in the storm and discovered that together they could be whole again. Benjamin had taken into Dragon Sisters with nowhere to go. In return, they'd given him something priceless, a reason to live again, to love again, to believe that even in darkness there could still be light. And for all of them, that was more than enough.